You know what I believe in and value? Taking things back to basics, reducing things to their lowest common denominator. Reason why I say that is because we know we have a ton of problems and issues we could talk about. One such problem or problems are as it relates to health, and as it pertains to the foods that we eat. And it might be hard for a lot of us to grasp or to even fathom, but in many instances, a lot of these problems stem from just downright hunger.
They're rationing food. If this goes on much, much longer, then we could start to see actual starvation in America. We're doing far much worse than any developed Western nation.
Economist Hillary points.
Prior to the crisis, about 11% of Americans suffered from food insecurity, and we have every reason to believe that those statistics are increasing dramatically in the current time period.
These problems are part of a bigger issue as it relates to access and equity in our communities.
Now we have drug dealers and corner stores that they don't sell anything but the wrong things. You cannot deny the impact that it has on people's health.
But that's a topic for another day. Now, taking things back to basics, you know what else I value? Solutions. I mean, if we've learned anything from recent events, is that nobody's coming to save us. We have a pressing need for self-reliance. Now, I believe in thinking globally and acting locally. Recently, me and my dear Uncle James were hanging out and we visited Redeeming Grace Baptist Church. That's a perfect example of local action. They have a place called Heavenly Gardens.
4500 North Foster, Redeeming Grace Church. North Foster. They got their grow operation, their produce operation growing. And I'm gonna steal this for a project that I'm gonna be a part of. I want to be a part of. So I'm stealing their ideas.
When you see the thriving greenery at Heavenly Gardens, it's hard to believe that just 3 months ago, we had a devastating freeze right here in San Antonio, Texas.
Where all these sticks you see, that was all collard greens when the snow came. These are the ones that survived, these tall ones right here.
Wow. And those are beautiful too.
Yeah. And then those two out there in the mist by themselves, there was a whole line. Both of those lines were nothing but collard greens. So when the snow took them out, those survived even through everything else that the other ones couldn't survive. Now that will preach, because in the midst of, you lose 800, but you still got, because if you're rooted and grounded, can't nothing take you out. It can make you bend, it can make you, but it won't take you out.
You know what else I value? Wisdom, especially wisdom from the elders. While we were at Heavenly Gardens, we were introduced to a phenomenal man, just a jewel of wisdom, Sergeant Major Clarence Prevost.
It's just amazing when God showed me this area here, behind this church, just walking back to this is what I want you to do. You ain't just saying the words, okay? I mean, hey, but God talks to you all the time if you listen in so many ways, but you gotta listen, you gotta understand what's going on with you,
And he was just a wellspring of inspiration, and God uses gardening as just the conduit for him, and that's his ministry basically. God uses him through gardening.
They just showed me the little spot. I didn't see all of this stuff way over there and way over there. I just saw this little area here, He gave me that mission.
I was blown away by Mr. Prevost. You know a word I like? Serendipity. Probably not a word that you use or hear very often or regularly. It means a happy coincidence or unfolding of events in a beneficial way. But if you know better, then you know in all actuality there is no such thing as a coincidence.
You're not here by happenstance. You're here because God brought you here. Okay, you may not realize it. The volunteers was asked for and everything, and
I believe that we create our own serendipity by first daring to dream, believing and thinking outside of ourselves, and then trusting God to make it happen. Most importantly, acting accordingly. And you got to follow that voice. It's crazy because before we visited Heavenly Gardens, me and Uncle were just talking about this very idea about taking a property that we have control of and making some kind of green space out of it. And neither one of us has ever done that before, but we were and we are committed to the idea. And then just a few days later, bam, we're witnessing proof of concept in the flesh. There's no such thing as coincidence.
passion. But in the process, he provided everything that I needed before I needed it. I didn't even know I needed it. Okay? Follow your passion. You can go to school, get an education and all that, but you ain't never going to be satisfied until you follow your passion. Find out what it is, because it's something. It's in you, what you like to do, what you like to help people do. Be careful who you tell your passion to, because it's like the fire, then water being poured on it to put it out, you know. So know that. A seed's been planted in you, you know. What do you like to do most of all? You know, what you enjoy doing above anything else, that you would stop and you can go out, go do it. Even though you're hungry, but you'd rather do that. That may be your passion.